Hello, hello, are we live? Welcome back, everyone. I don't have my phone here. For some reason, it's charging over there, but it wasn't charging here. It wasn't working. So, I'm just going to read chat from my PC. Because the whole setup for this stream is going to be a little different. Because well, if you watched the first part, if you watched part one, you'll know that my camera wasn't working. So I sort of turned it into a podcasting situation. I had like the book cover over here instead of my face. Also, the charity stream's finished. I forgot to actually retire the campaign. So that's done now, but thank you all once again for your help with the charity stream. That was awesome. But that's done now, that's over. But I have the book right here. If you don't know, there is now a Choose Your Own Adventure 5 Nights at Freddy's book, and I'm going to be finishing what I started and getting through nights 3, 4, and 5 today on stream, on camera. And I'm going to have ambient music playing in the background, like so. I've got a whole playlist here. Same as last time, I think. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid. And time is actually quite tight for me, so I'm just gonna jump straight into this. Because if I don't get this done today, I'm actually on a time limit, so I'm just gonna get straight back into it. No need for a long intro. Again, if you haven't already, watch part 1. It's the same thumbnail. You'll see it. You'll recognize it. There'll probably be a playlist somewhere. You'll be able to find it. If you don't know, just search for it. Week before on my channel, you will find it. So, the week before. I love this audio soundscape. Shout out to all the ambience and soundscapes in this video. I can't link them all, but there's a play. I'll link the playlist. But let's return. Let's get back into the week before. So last time, we are Ralph, who may or may not be phone guy. Kind of weird. And again, it's the week presumably before Fnaf and when you play as Mike. We got every single game over on night 2. We died to Foxy in that bathroom many times. We have our daughter, Ophelia, whatever her name is. Ooh, my inventory. What did I have in my inventory? Because I was playing on easy mode, so I started off with like a few items. I have no idea what it was. Oh, hold on. If I go back, I'll remember. Because we used some of them. Right, we used... What did we use? I don't remember. Give me a second. I'm going to go back to part 1 just to check that I have the right stuff. Because we had a certain number of coins as well. And I can't... Unless I saved the notepad. Did I save the notepad? I don't think I did. I'm not seeing it. Let me just check my downloads folder. Did I save the notepad? Ooh, no, that's the wrong one. I am struggling. I have this somewhere. Where is this information stored? I have no idea. Anyways, but while I'm finding this, I hope you're having a very Merry Christmas. I know it's not looking quite as festive. Like, it is, December 27th now. I think we're past, like, the obvious Christmas phase. My camera's out of focus for some reason, so it's awful autofocus. I thought I disabled this. I'm going to have to fix that. But yeah, I hope you're having a Merry Christmas. The channel is also still in an absolutely chaotic state because of the charity stream. I still haven't... Hello? Oh, this is so cool. I have not, like, touched, like, anything, like, since the day. So I'm going to tidy this all up in time for the new year. But, here we go. I just wanted to find... Because I had the notepad on the screen towards the end, right? Here we go. So I had a flashlight, a screwdriver, and that was it. Flashlight and a screwdriver. Got it. That's all we need to know. Like, I don't even need to have the other ones recorded on there. But yeah, Livy! Green Gaming! Hello, good morning. I don't know what time it is for you guys. You're different time zones. But welcome. Hello, thank you so much for joining. But yeah, we got a screwdriver and a flashlight that have not been, like, used up. We haven't lost them. And if I just sort this out, I'm pretty sure... There it is! Nice. Okay, that all looks to be in order. I can't remember if the formatting is consistent, but it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, we're going to get right back into this. soon as I am ready. Here we go. So I'm just double checking I have this right. Yeah, okay, cool. Everything seems to be in order. Why is that not full screen? Go full screen. Much better. I'll just put this in the corner. Like over the game screen. Could adjust. Well, that's quite cool actually. I don't know, it's got to be like that, right? Like it's got to be as small as it possibly can. So let's continue. Let's get back into this, guys. We are on night 3, and I'm looking to end the game today. So, night 3, 12 AM. You feel well rested and excited about going to work, just like you used to, until you step inside the dark and dreary security office. Somehow, all your enthusiasm deflates, and you feel exhausted, as if you hadn't slept for 8 hours, as if you had always been in this office, and you will always be in this office. You settle into the seat inside, think you've aged 5 years in the 5 seconds it took for you to come in and sit down. It must be this midnight shift. Working as night watchman, you lose touch with all the good parts of the job that motivate you each day. There are no co-workers to catch up with. You don't see the smiling kids' faces or hear the happy laughter. And you don't get to see the animatronics the way they're meant to be seen, as entertainers instead of vengeful stalkers. When you go outside into the sunlight, your memories of the night before seem to dull and fade. When you are safe at home talking with Copelia, keep forgetting her name, Copelia, you question everything that happened, and you come to the same conclusion. You imagined it. It wasn't that bad. After all, you're alive. If the animatronics are really alive and hunting you, what would be your chances of surviving 1 night? 2, 5? Really darn slim. I'm not ready, guy. I'm becoming more and more attached to Ralph. I don't think I'm emotionally ready for this ending. He's dead. He's a dead man walking. He is marked for death. It's so heavily foreshadowed because we already know it's over. Anyway, turn to page 87. Again, I've got my camera now instead of the book cover. I could put the book cover as well if you guys want, but I think we all know what's going on by now. So maybe these lapses in memory are some survival mechanism. How can you go home to your daughter each morning and live a normal life knowing such horrors exist in the world? How would you leave her each night and come back to work here, knowing you might never see her again? Only if you forget. But you also have a job to do. You've always been the responsible one, even as a kid. No one had to ask you to do your homework before watching TV and riding your bike. You were, and still are, what they call an overachiever. And yet you ended up working security at Freddy's. So many people don't understand that, but you tell them some things are more important than a fancy job and a big paycheck. I love these animatronics, and I make a difference when I go to work each day. Do you still believe that? Did you ever? Wow, this is deep. This is actually some pretty solid writing. This is quite an intense soundscape. Genuinely, this dialogue is making me think about my own life. Am I going to be like Ralph when I grow up? Am I going to be a well-behaved, overachiever who ends up in a shitty dead-end job because I was too nice and didn't have any ambition? I don't know, man. That's an interesting thought. You sit up straight and switch on the security monitor. Time to make the donuts, you mutter. It's behind you! You spin the chair around and look behind you. There's nothing there but lockers and shadows. Pull yourself together, Ralph. Only 3 more nights. A child laughs behind you. Guys, you know what this means. We are getting haunted. Night 3, this is where things get real. But, I love the amount of depth and background that they've added to Ralph. I'm kind of on board with it now. I feel weird knowing Phone Guy's real name, but I really like the characterization. That was some really solid writing. It's better than some parts of it, the book. Alright. You begin as you always do, pushing buttons. You cycle through all the camera feeds and the monitors, and everything is copacetic until you hit the party rooms. I don't know what that means. Copacetic? Copacetic? I'm just going to show you guys. Copacetic? Bro, they put all the sounds in this. They got all the creepy sounds. How is that pronounced? Copacetic? Everything in excellent order. Interesting. What the? You lean closer to the Gisri video screen. A table and chairs have been overturned in Party Room 2, and there is a large, dark puddle on the floor. The window in the far wall is broken, A crushed paper party hat lies in the hallway outside. This is why we don't have more windows. Everyone always wants to schedule their parties in Party Room 2 because it has one of the few windows in the restaurant, but the moment you saw it, you knew it was a big security risk. Kids are always breaking in on a dare, and no one has ever gotten inside before. Someone has to clean up that mess in Party Room 2. You put your finger on your nose. Not it, you say. You sigh. The security job has more janitorial duties than you expected. You need supplies in the closet in the West Hall to mop the floor and board up the window. And you should locate that intruder before they break anything else, or get themselves hurt. Interesting. So there is actually a window in Party Room 2 that's been broken, and the room's a mess. Someone's broken in. So we can head to the supply closet, check the West Hall camera, check the supply closet camera, or check the cameras for intruders. If Night 2 taught me anything, we need to have the camera on Foxy, or we are screwed, because he will just get us immediately. So we need to look at Pirate Cove, really. I guess I'm just going to check all the cameras. I can literally see that it's a game over if you head to the supply closet. In fact, I'm just going to read out this game over because it's quite entertaining. This isn't my choice, but if you just head straight there, still grumbling about having to clean up after other people's children, you head to the supply closet in the West Hall. You just want to get this over with, and it's going to take you most of the night to sweep up broken glass, mop that spill, and cover up the window. And you bet you'll be the one to get the blame for the damage, even though it happened between closing time and your shift starting. You'll pull open the closet door, but you can't find the mop because there's a giant bunny in the way. Oh crap, bunny. The animatronic is suddenly in your face, head twitching violently and teeth gnashing. The next morning, a daytime security guard is shocked to find blood spattering the West Hall right in front of the supply closet. Jeez, some people are so lazy, he says. The mop is right there. He reaches inside the closet and starts mopping you up. Game over. Some of these deaths are crazy. Anyway, yes, Livy, we are in the New Year's stage. Absolutely, the New Year's phase. So we're gonna go check the cameras for intruders. You cycle through each of the cameras once more, this time checking carefully for someone who shouldn't be there. Bonnie and Chica have both left the stage. Why don't you go out much, Freddy? You ask. When the camera pans away from him and back, you gasp. His head is now turned and looking at the camera. You stay there, you swallow. Please. The curtain of Pirate Cove is open slightly and you see Foxy grinning from the depths. You stay there too. If the intruder's hiding in there, Foxy wouldn't even think of leaving his new plaything. Funny how you've started attributing thoughts and feelings to the animatronics, as if they weren't simply acting according to quirks in their programming. Anthropomorphizing, you believe it's called. You started out as a psychology major at the community college, specialising in children's psychology before you dropped out. You figure that experience helped you get the job at Freddy's, not that you use psychology much anymore unless you're trying to convince your daughter to do something she doesn't want to do. Maybe you should have studied artificial intelligence instead. After checking everywhere, the only place the intruder could be is in the kitchen. There's no picture, but you hear someone bang around. If someone's in there with Chica, they better be hiding. And now it forces us to hurry to the supply closet. I think the other two options just, yeah, they cycle around. But that is psychology degree. Interesting. This is one of the calmest breaks I've had at work in a while. Good for you, Livy. Good for you. You open the supply closet in the West Hall and yelp when something reaches out of the darkness. It hits you in the face and you jerk backward. The wooden handle of a mop falls and clatters hollowly on the black and white tile floor. You chuckle and look up at the security camera in the hall. You flash it a V sign with your fingers, then stoop to pick up the mop and return it to the bucket. Gradually, your racing pulse returns to normal. You have two big jobs ahead of you in Party Room 2. You have to clean up that spill and broken glass and board up the window. Everything you need is right here. You can't carry all the supplies with you. You'll have to make 2 trips. But you're not sure which task you should complete first. Okay. I think clean up the spill and broken glass first makes the most sense. I think boarding up the window is secondary. So we're going to go to page 94. It's not a game over. Good. You hate messes, so you decide to clean that spill first. You know it will only get more difficult to wipe up if it dries. You grab a mop and the bucket, then look around for some cleaning solution. The bottles on the shelf are all industrial grade stuff. High concentration bleaches and stain removers. You bet this is what people use to clean up crime scenes. Despite its stern appearances, Freddy's is a sanitary place, and management is always reminding staff to keep it clean and tidy, at least in the public spaces. You kick at a crumpled piece of paper someone has left in the closet and roll your eyes, but you want to set out a better example, so you pick up the paper and smooth it out. It's an old newspaper clipping with an ominous headline. Kids vanish at local pizzeria. Bodies not found. You hastily ball up the article again and toss it in the trash where it belongs. Those poor children, you think. Their poor parents. You have the jumbo bottle of bleach. It's heavy and a lot to juggle with the mop bucket. Should you fill the bucket here, or carry the bottle to party room 2 with everything else? I feel like filling the bucket is just going to be more awkward to carry and more of a liability. What if we spill it? I'm going to fill the bucket in party room 2. But yeah, the missing children's incident is referenced. Of course, Ralph knows what that is. So it's 90... What page is it? Yeah, 98. 97 is actually a game over. I'm dodging these game overs, man. It doesn't seem wise to handle chemicals in a confined space like the supply closets. You place the bottle of bleach in the bucket with the mop and drag them to party room 2. You flip on the light. It's a horror show. The spill inside looks like blood. A lot of blood. It smells like blood too. A bitter, metallic scent you can almost taste, like copper. You gag and then throw up your dinner. Now you have an even bigger mess to clean up. You empty the jug of bleach into the bucket and get to work, mopping up the blood and vomit. The stench and fumes might be overpowering if not for the shattered window in the far wall, which lets in fresh air. That was smart, doing this one first. Got free airflow. An actual window in Freddy's, what a blessing. Even though you hate bodily fluids when they're outside the body, where they shouldn't ever be, you find you enjoy work like this. When you're done, the floor is clean, and no one would ever be able to tell that some person or some animal lost a catastrophic amount of life-giving blood in this room. If there's no evidence, it may as well have never happened. Management will be pleased. You're so busy admiring your handiwork, you don't hear the footsteps until they're almost right outside. I love how it just... Suddenly there's like a threat. The way this plays is really cool. The way it's paced, it's like false sense of security and then bam, animatronic, just like the actual first game. We don't have the bonus items, so we can't use that on page 101. We can either leave through the open window on page 100 or hide under a table on page 99. This is kind of cheating because I just glanced and I saw that 99 was a game over, but my instinct would be to go to the window. They can't leave the pizzeria. That's like, I don't even want to board up the window now. That's like a free escape route. They physically can't go out there. So leave through the window. Oh my goodness. I'm just reading 99. But yeah, Chica walks in and she drags you out. She drags you under the table and you remain conscious enough, long enough to see the floor doused in blood again, and you to have one final irrational thought. I just cleaned that. It's a pretty rational thought. Oh no! Hold on. Leave through the open window. You race towards the broken window and catch Chica's reflection in a sliver of glass remaining in the frame as you dive outside. You roll in the dirt and shards of glass slice your hands, but you clamber to your feet and run away from the restaurant. You make it maybe 30 feet before something grabs you from behind. You tumble and see a blur of yellow fur and Chica's chicken feet. She's spattered in blood, but you aren't sure if it came from whoever broke into the restaurant or from you. You've always told the night watchman that it isn't safe to leave in the middle of the night. It's better to just wait until the end of their shift. But you don't really know why. Just repeating what management told you. And they supposedly have a good reason for everything. This is what happens when you break the rules. You have only yourself to blame, but it's a shame that Capelia will have to suffer from your incompetence. At best, you'll end up another newspaper headline. At worst, Frasber Entertainment will cover all this up and your daughter will never know what happened to you. If there's no evidence, it never happened. You think Chica's going to drag you back into the restaurant, but instead she carries you into the woods. This might go even more badly than you thought. For everyone. What? I'm sorry? So Chica somehow gets outside, magically, and she takes you to the woods? Is this like a Joy of Creation reference? That's insane. That's wild. That shouldn't be possible. Anyway. Pyro, welcome to the stream. I didn't actually say hello, but I saw you. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing great, thank you. Enjoying the Christmas break. Try and just relax, waste time, do nothing. Been a success so far. I usually have a very productivity-focused mindset, so it's nice to have a real break. Yeah. I got a major toothache though, wisdom tooth coming through. It's awful. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back because all of that was a game over. Let's try again and do Well, if we fill the bucket there, we die, don't we? Yeah, it's a game over. Yeah, if you fill the bucket in the closet, your eyes tear up from the fumes. You're about to lug the full bucket into the hole when you hear the footsteps approach. Bonnie should be coming back. You shut the door and wait silently inside the closet for the footsteps to pass. Your eyes, nostrils, and throat are burning. You stifle a cough. And yeah, Bonnie goes to the security office. You sneak out to the dining area. You have to take a chance because you can't stay in here much longer. The liquid in the bucket looks like it's smoking. Acrid fumes rise up. You blink, barely able to see anymore. It feels like ice picks are being stabbed into your pupils. You try to open the door, but it's stuck. You push on it hard, bracing yourself against the back wall. Bottles fall from the shelves all around you and the mop tumbles. The bucket tips over and the floor is flooded with the poisonous cleaning product. You cough and cover your mouth. Red spittle and froth speckle your palm. Help, you gasp. Your vision swims and then mercifully you pass out. In games or not, you should never mix household chemicals, ever. That's a lesson for the kids. Okay, so I guess we board up the window first, since those were all game overs. Your first priority as night watchman is to keep Freddy Fazbear's Pizza secure and protect the animatronics, though you aren't sure how much protection they need. You better make sure no one else can sneak into the restaurant in the night. You pick up a hammer and swing it around experimentally. It's no Mjolnir of Thor, but you already feel a little safer. You grab a box of nails and a pile of wooden planks that are just the right size and set off for the party rooms. But then, is it not the same? What a mess. You step into pie room 2 with dread settling in your chest. There's a wide, dark pool of liquid on the floor, and the pane for the window of the far side room is gone. Broken glass is everywhere. The shards of the floor twinkle in the moonlight coming through the open window. It's kind of pretty, despite the circumstances. A cool draft from the window brings a scent of something sharp and metallic. You flip on the light and see that the puddle is red and viscous. That's a lot of tomato sauce, you think hopefully. When you kneel to investigate more closely, you know it's blood. You gag and run to the window to throw up. The fresh air wafting inside settles your stomach. You've never noticed how bad this place smells all the time, like greasy old pizza and sweat and sometimes rotting meat. And now blood. Human blood? Alright, Livy. You have a good day. I'll see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. I hope more people join too. Guys, share the stream. Share the stream if you want more people to join. Tell your friends, tell your family. Hop on in. I don't mind, but... An animal must have gotten in, you say aloud, as if that would make it true. Whatever it was, it's gone, one way or another. You just have to worry about keeping anyone else out. You place a plank over the window and about to hammer in the first nail when you hear strains of music in the dining area. It's getting louder. So we're going to try and board up the window quickly, listen and wait, and climb out the window. I'm going to try climbing out the window again. That should work. That should work. You climb out the broken window. A shard of glass slices your palm open. You drip blood all the way around the restaurant to the parking lot. You get in your car and you drive home. You're home early, so Capelia is still sound asleep. You sit in a room, listening to her breathe until the sun rises. Thinking, worrying. You abandoned your shift, and you know what that means. Don't bother coming back. Do not pass go. Do not collect your final paycheck. You're ashamed that, after a flawless career at Freddy's, it's come to this. You're alive, but you're a coward. As the days pass, you think you might be even worse than a coward. You're a killer, at least indirectly responsible for the deaths of innocents. The news reports a series of missing children over the last few nights since you escaped from Freddy's. Since something else also escaped with you. 4 kids have disappeared so far, and when you do a little detective work, you determine their houses are all on a line from the pizza place. A line leading to your house. On the 5th night outside Freddy's, you find yourself comforting Capelia in her room, while the animatronics try to get into your house, wreak havoc and revenge, and get to your daughter. What? This is insane. Let me just roll this back. Going out the window, we just straight up abandon our shift. We just don't go back because we know we're fired. And then kids go missing in a line of houses leading up to ours. And then it just leaves on a cliffhanger, us protecting Capelia from the animatronics at our house. Like, what? This is absolutely insane. Like, that... I want to know what happens after that. That's such an insane ending. Let's listen and wait, because boarding up the window quickly is sure to be a game over. It is. Yeah. Music of unknown origin in the middle of the night feels ominous. Right now isn't the time to move or make noise. You tiptoe to the open door of a party room and grip the handle of the hammer tightly as you listen. You've heard this song before. It's a march, played on a music box or something. As far as you're aware, none of the animatronics have a built-in music box, though you think you've seen one over by the prize counter. The music comes closer and closer and closer, and then it moves past the party room and fades. You risk a peek around the open doorway and see Freddy Fazbear walking away, microphone in hand. You choke back a gasp. This is the first time you've seen Freddy out like this, on his own. You're beginning to wonder if he'd ever step off that stage. Now, you're worried about what finally drew him out. At least he's gone, for now. You board up the window quickly, straining to hear whether Freddy or any of the others are approaching. Now that the task is done, there's still all that blood to clean up. So much blood. But you've also been away from the cameras for too long. Maybe you should swing by the security office first to check in. The thing is, it is worth getting an update. I think it's saying, go to the office. Like, we've got to be patient. This is a trick with Fnaf, we've got to be patient. We will get this task done, but, like, we have to make sure we're safe first. Otherwise, we'll just die. If we only get it done by 6 AM, that's fine. Anyway. Pyro. I normally have... It varies. It really varies. Some streams, I will have, like, one person tell the whole thing. Sometimes I have, like, a dozen people. It does fluctuate, obviously, but, like, on average, I'd say, like, 6 to 8 people. Usually, like, 3 or 4 at any given time, minimum. It's kind of quiet at the moment, though, because, like, time of day, time of year. Okay, let's return to the security office. Ooh, there's an illustration. I didn't show these off before, but I feel like showing this one off because it's just pretty cool. Look at that. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of these on certain pages. Freddy went towards the show stage on the west end of the dining area, so you stick to the east side. You plan to return to the security office via the east hall before continuing on to the supply closet to finish your task for the night. But as you pass the kitchen, you think again about the intruder who broke into the party room and lost a lot of blood. The only place they could be hiding is in the kitchen, since the camera is only transmitting audio. It's on your way. Maybe you should duck into there to check things out. If you stop in the kitchen, turn to page 112. If you continue on to the security office, turn to page 115. This might be the wrong decision, getting distracted, but I'm gonna stop in the kitchen. It feels like it's sort of guiding me in that direction. You slip into the kitchen just to make sure that no one is hiding in there, and maybe to grab a little snack since you haven't eaten in hours. That's one of the benefits of the video feed being out in the kitchen. No one will be the wiser. If anyone does notice some food missing, you can always blame Chica. You hit the jackpot. There's a yellow cupcake on the metal counter with pink frosting. An unlit candle sticks out the centre. This must have been left over from a birthday party. Maybe one of the kitchen staff meant to take it home and forgot it. You poke the frosting. It has a hard outer layer, but it's soft as underneath. As fresh as food gets around here. You lick the frosting from your finger. Delicious. Without questioning the wisdom of eating random food you find lying around. You're about to pick up the cupcake when you hear footsteps approaching quickly. You better get out of sight. You want to take the cupcake with you, but it might work better as a distraction if you can light the candle to draw attention to it. I do not have a lighter, so I have to hide behind the counter on page 113. You hop over the counter and drop down behind it softly a moment before someone enters the kitchen. Did they see you? You crouch with your head below the counter, muscles tensed and ready to run or fight, whatever you must do to survive. A large shadow on the wall cast by a light from the doorway suggests your visitor is one of the animatronics. The round profile looks like Chica. The animatronic bumps into a baker's rack and a pot clatters to the floor. Definitely Chica. Chica has a big appetite. Her bib reads, "Let's eat," after all. You've never actually seen her eat anything. Sometimes she carries around her little cupcake companion, or they hand her a prop pizza slice for a party. You have a sudden image of her pecking someone to death with her beak and then using her eerily human teeth to tear into the flesh. You hold back a shudder at the horrific thought. She's doing something at the counter, but you can't determine what. A few minutes later, she leaves the room. You slowly raise your head to look out. Yes, Chica's gone, and unfortunately, so is the cupcake you were going to eat. In its place, Chica has left her prop companion, Mr. Cupcake. I don't see why we'd examine Mr. Cupcake. I would just go to the security office, but I'm also curious. Mr. Cupcake looks much like the birthday cupcake you just lost to Chica, only bigger with a fake lit candle and large haunting eyes. You swear those eyes follow you as you get closer to it. An optical illusion, you think. but your hands tremble as you reach down to pick up the abandoned prop. It's heavier than it looks, probably 10 pounds easy. You assumed it would be hollow or some cheap plastic, but it's metal, and you wonder if it has some rudimentary animatronic parts inside that interact with Chica during her stage performances. Begrudgingly, you admit to yourself it's kind of cute. Guess I can't leave you in here all by yourself, you say. Someone is liable to try and eat you. You can always return it to Chica later on. Maybe you can use it to distract her at a crucial moment, or it can just be a souvenir to remember your time here, as if you could ever forget. Add Mr. Cupcake to your inventory, and proceed to the security office. Okay. Interesting. Mr. Cupcake is in our inventory. I guess they are in the office. If you look closely, guys, you can see Mr. Cupcake sitting on the monitors on the top right of the office. That is, I guess, why that's there. So that's interesting. Anyway. You make it back to the security office without encountering any more animatronics, but you don't get comfortable. You can't stay long, that bloody mess in Party Room 2. But there's always time to sweep the camera's patrol. Freddy is missing from the stage, but Bonnie and Chica are back there already. Chica has stains around her mouth, but the black and white video makes it hard to identify what it is. It could be frosting from the cupcake she found in the kitchen. Yes, that must be what it is. Even Foxy is still hiding in Pirate Cove. This night has been feeling off, and you reason it's because it's the first night Freddy has gone wandering. Is it possible that the other animatronics are lying low tonight to give them some room to explore? They're not afraid of him, are they? You can't pick up Freddy on any of the cameras, but you do hear his music playing in the kitchen. It's a popular spot tonight. That's an interesting idea, the other animatronics being afraid of Freddy. Satisfied that you're taking only a minimal risk, so long as you steer clear of Freddy's music, you stop by the supply closet for the second time tonight. You grab a mop, some cleaning products, and a bucket. Something rattles inside the bucket. You steel yourself for something traumatic, like a... Okay, I don't know what just happened to the sound. Just glitched out. You steel yourself for something traumatic, like a dismembered body part or a small dead animal, and look inside. A pink water pistol is at the bottom of the bucket. It's the kind of toy they give away at the prize counter if you turn in enough tickets. A cheap toy that probably won't work right and will cease working completely after playing with it just a few times. You know, they buy these things in bulk for pennies a piece and then make several dollars of profit off them. Finally, I'm armed, you think. You raise the water gun and spin around to aim at the hall outside the closet. Go ahead. Make my night, punk. The hall is empty. You probably scared everyone off. You slip the water pistol into a pocket. Even though it's plastic junk, it does make you feel a little safer. Which probably says something about how unsafe this whole situation really is. Alright. We now also have a water pistol. This is getting interesting. I've just been turning pages one at a time. I've gone from like 115 to 118. It's just one at a time, like, I'm reading the full book. You hurry back to Party Room 2 to clean up. The puddle on the floor has dried some, so it hardly even resembles blood anymore as you apply the mop and bleach and add some pine-scented shine to red and blue tiles. To save yourself some time, you bring the cleaning supplies to the security office with you. The day shift can put them away, and this way everyone will know that you weren't just sitting in front of the screens tonight. You definitely put in a good night's work. Freddy's music starts up again, and it sounds like it's right outside the office, but you can't tell which door it's coming from. It seems to be coming from all around you. You grab the desk clock, it's 5:59 AM, and back up, looking from one door to the other. You hear laughter and see a light flash to your left. Freddy's eyes and mouth are strobing a white light like a demented jack-o'-lantern, while the song continues playing as if there's a music box in his head. The song is almost over, and you don't know what will happen then. The clock flips over to 6 AM, and you immediately hold it out in front of you. It's 6 AM, Freddy! Go back to your stage, you shout. 6 AM! To your surprise, the music stops, and Freddy does in fact slink off. You look at the clock in your hands, a makeshift talisman that only works once a night, at a very specific time. The question is, do the animatronics have internal clocks, or could you deter them by simply changing the time on this clock? That's an interesting idea. What if you, like, change the time to be, like, 6 AM at 12 AM? Would they just, like, cease functioning? But yeah, we got the full, like, glowing Freddy song like there is in the Power Out. We literally got the Power Out sequence, like, in the actual thing. That's cool. 235. Okay, here we go. It's got another, like, daytime segment. We're getting towards the end of the book now. Okay, page 235. Home again. You stop in the kitchen and wash your hands vigorously under the hottest water you can stand for 2 minutes, and they still don't feel clean. This last night has left a mark on you that you don't think will ever come out. You head to your daughter's room and run into her in the hall, already dressed for school. Capelia has bags under her eyes. You look at each other for a moment, and then she wraps you in a tight hug. Are you okay? She whispers. Her voice trembles. I'm alive, you laugh, but neither of you finds it funny. Are you okay? Why are you up so early? I didn't sleep well. The two of you walk back to the kitchen together. She holds onto your arm. Someone called last night, looking for you. Who? When? She didn't say. She called a minute after you left, hoping to catch you. Did she leave a message? She said she would, and then she hung up. It wasn't a very good connection. Huh. If it's important, she'll call back. You don't feel like making breakfast, and Capelia doesn't seem up to eating much, so you pour 2 bowls of sugary cereal. I'm glad you're home, she says. Me too. Can't I skip school? I want to hang out with you. You're tempted, but she needs to go to class. That's what kids do, right? Just like you have to work. I don't think so. Not today, sweetie. I need to sleep anyway. Go ahead. I just want to be around you. Staring at me while I sleep? Sounds creepy. You wink and you both laugh. And just like that, whatever has been haunting you lifts and the memories of the awful night fade away. Tell you what, you can stay home if you tidy your room. It's getting to be a mess. I'm done cleaning up after other people. No deal? You smirk. Thought so. So, bring me any souvenirs? She asks. She ties her shoes. I did find a couple of things lying around. An image of the large bloody puddle pops into your mind. Your breakfast starts to come back up. You swallow it down. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Dad? What's wrong? Tonight was a lot. I'll tell you about it later. Never. Here's your prize of being Daughter of the Month. You reach into your bag. If you have the gold ring and want to hand it to her, turn to page 237. If you have Mr. Cupcake and want to hand it to her, turn to page 238. If you have the water pistol and want to hand it to her, turn to page 239. If you flash her a thumbs up and send her off to school, turn to page 121. That last one, man. I don't have the gold ring. Mr. Cupcake would be really interesting to give her, but I actually don't think that's good. I think Mr. Cupcake's more useful than the water pistol. I think it's going to save us from Chica at some point. And I think if we leave Mr. Cupcake at our house, and Chica can leave the restaurant, mate, we're getting haunted. It's going to be like Coming Home all over again. Chica's going to kill Capelia or something. Like, she'll come to the house. We'll get haunted via the cupcake. It'll be crazy. So I'm going to give her the water pistol. She spins the water pistol around her finger like a Wild West gunslinger and then points it at your chest. You gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? 1 second. I'm actually going to read out what happens if you give her the cupcake, because I'm just curious, and I can see it's a game over here. Check this out. If you give Capelia Mr. Cupcake, she inspects a toy cupcake. Don't bite down on it, you say. It's not a real cupcake. She turns it from side to side. It's cute? Was that a question mark, you ask? I think so. She squints at Mr. Cupcake. I mean, it's goofy, so I kind of like it. Doesn't that chicken carry this around? Chica. Right. Do you think it's messed up that chicken wings are on the menu when one of the stars of the restaurant is a giant chicken? You sigh. They're called Chica's hot wings, too. That's above my pay grade. She stows Mr. Cupcake in her backpack. Thanks, Daddy. I'm going to show this to my friends at school. I'll see you later. Be good, and have a good day. As tired as you are, it takes you a while to fall asleep, so you're annoyed when the phone rings a couple of hours later. You pick up the handset and bark. What? Are you Capelia's father? A woman asks. You sit up in bed. Yes. Is she alright? We were hoping you could tell us. She didn't show up for school this morning. Was she on the bus? No one has seen her since yesterday afternoon. You drop the phone and run outside to the bus stop corner. You find Capelia's backpack there, torn to shreds, her books and papers scattered and blowing in the wind. Creepy. But thankfully we didn't choose that. So, do you feel lucky? Do you, punk? This was a mistake. Gimme. You reach out to take back the toy gun. Oh, you want it? Yes, let me have it. Okay. She squeezes the trigger and water squirts you in the face. Her peals of laughter fill the kitchen. Thanks. You wipe the water from your face and watch her laughing. You asked for it, she says. I sure did. She starts to put the water pistol in her backpack. Nope, you say. Oh, I wasn't going to use it. She pulls the water pistol out sadly. Then why bring it? It makes me feel safer, she says. It shoots water. The Wicked Witch of the West has been bullying me at school lately, and I really think this would help me manage that situation. You are not going to murder the Wicked Witch of the West. Leave it here. I'll be waiting for you after school. What a world. She puts the toy down on the coffee table. What about you? I'll be here too. She smiles. Good. She leaves and you head to bed. When you close your eyes, all you see are the horrors of the night. Then you feel your damp hair and you laugh and fall asleep. Remove the water pistol from your inventory and turn to page 121. Night 4, baby. We are beginning night 4. I'm not going to do a break here. I might do a break between nights 4 and 5, because I actually do need to be somewhere, I think, in about an hour, 45 minutes, however long it takes. But yeah, we no longer have the water pistol. I don't think that's a big loss. Let's continue. Night 4, 12 AM. You know something is off as soon as you arrive for your shift tonight. In fact, let's change the ambience. Now that we're on a different night, let's switch it up, because there's like a load of different ones here, and I haven't used these. Like, what was this one? Oh, why don't we use this? This is great. Yeah, let's switch to this. I'll just go, like, at the halfway point. So, here we go. Get some different images as well. Really mix it up. Can I full screen, please? Thank you. Alright, here we go. You know something is off as soon as you arrive for your shift tonight. Way off. It doesn't take a detective to figure that much out, because all the lights are on at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, like it's open for business. Only it's midnight. So maybe someone forgot to switch off the lights on their way out, but it isn't as simple as that. Like the good night watch when you check the security cameras before you do anything else. And what you see had you both baffled and anxious. The animatronics are more active than usual, especially for this hour. They seem to be having a party in the dining area. Freddy is up on the stage singing his Clockwork Heart out, while Bonnie and Chica are showing off their moves on the dance floor below. Bonnie is swinging his bass guitar around, and Chica is doing the chicken dance up and down the aisles, knocking chairs over. Even Foxy is joining in, so you know this is trouble. He's dancing on the tables, crushing party hats and shredding tables with his shiny metal feet. You cover your eyes. Now this is a nightmare. You don't know how you're going to clean this up. You can't even think of janitorial duties until you shut down the party. How are you going to do that? Interesting. I wonder who broke in, and I wonder who the woman was on the phone. There's a lot of weird things going on in the background, which I'm not quite piecing together. You can't just ask them nicely to stop. They'll come right after you. With all the lights on, maybe the animatronics never switched over into night mode, and they don't know what to do without supervision or kids to entertain. You might be able to get them back on track if you just turn off the lights. But you can't walk around switching off lights either. Then they'll come right after you. If only there was a way to turn off all the lights at once. Other than praying for a well-timed blackout to make it easy for you, your best bet is to head to the breaker room and shut down the power to the entire restaurant. That should force their system to reboot. But there's a big problem. The breaker room is behind the stage on the other side of the dining area, and sneaking through there with all the lights on without alarming Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, or Foxy would be a small miracle. If you succeed at that, you're definitely going to buy a lottery ticket in the morning. If you head to the dining area and hope for the best, turn to page 123. That is not a game over, surprisingly. If you pace around the office trying to think of another way, turn to page 124. Somehow I think that's going to be the game over, but I'm curious what it says. What other ways are there? You walk back and forth in the cramped security office. It may seem like a waste of energy to some people, or an annoying habit, but pacing helps you figure your way out of a bad situation. You think best on your feet, and moving around feels like you're doing something, even if you aren't actually going anywhere. So true, so true. I relate to this. Also, this is great. All 4 animatronics are in one place, distracted. Yes, they're making a mess. But the safety of knowing they're there, and like having them guaranteed be there, at the cost of having a bigger mess to clean up tomorrow, I would take that. I would honestly take that. I would just leave them to it. Alright. Tonight, you feel more like a zoo animal trapped in a too small cage. The security office is the only safe place at the moment. But what happens when the animatronics decide to bring the party to you? You aren't good at parties, especially costume parties where you might end up stuffed into a suit filled with robot parts. You keep walking between the lockers at the back of the office and desk at the front, where the TV shows the animatronics wrecking the dining area. You don't know how many times you've looked at those lockers, but on your 10th or 11th trip, you notice something new. Behind the lockers. A ventilation opening near the floor. You drag the lockers away from the wall, wincing at the sound of scraping metal. Has this vent always been here? You're excited. You can use these to sneak right by the dining area undetected. If you can find your way. You crawl inside and immediately face a decision. This seems worse, but also more exciting. I like it. So we can turn left or right. Well, left is wrong and right is right? I don't think it matters. Right would take us through the kind of west hallway, whereas left would take us through the east. I think I'm going to go right. Picturing the floor plan of the restaurant in your mind, you anticipate that turning right will be the most direct way to the northwest corner, in the backstage area where the break room is. Oh, there you go. The thumps of your hands and feet as you crawl through the ventilation shaft echo around you, and the thin metal vibrates with a wobbly sound. You're surprised that the flimsy construction can hold your weight, and even more surprised at how spacious it is inside. Less constricting than you expected. You suppose good airflow and filtration are important in public spaces, especially when notorious disease vectors like children are involved. These shafts are probably big enough for an animatronic to pass through, so someone your size has no trouble negotiating them. However, it's a confusing labyrinth of passages in there. You navigate by instinct, trying to move generally toward the stage, but the layout doesn't make any sense. Some branches lead to dead ends for no discernible reason, while others let you out into dusty rooms you don't even recognize. It seems like whole sections of the building have been closed off over the years, or perhaps there are expansions that were abandoned before completion. Or maybe you're just hallucinating, giving into the darkness and the monotony in your imagination. Whatever the reason, you're well and truly lost. We don't have a bonus items, we've got to push on. I knew it would be a game over. The deeper you go, the more turned around you get. You realise too late that you should have tried to keep track of which turns you made. If only you had some string or breadcrumbs to help you find your way back to the security office. You crawl and crawl and crawl until you're too tired to crawl anymore. Haven't you been in here for days? The restaurant must have opened by now, but you haven't heard any people, and they must not have heard you either. Tired, parched, and starving, you push away your fear of animatronics and bang and shout for someone to help you. Even an animatronic tracking you would be a welcome sight right now. At the end, you cling to the memory of your daughter. I'm sorry, Capelia, you croak through cracked and peeling lips. Management knows you must have crawled into the security office vent, yet no one ever finds and recovers your body. At least, you are never forgotten. Occasionally, a customer will catch a whiff of you in the air, wrinkle their nose and say, "What is that horrible smell? Did something die inside the walls?" Staff like to tell stories about the security guard who vanished to new employees, so that they know they should never ever crawl into a vent. Long after you're gone, your cautionary tale saves many lives. That sounds like a lie. I'm curious, does turning left do... No, turning left is actually different. Turning left is not a game over, I don't think. So let's go left, because I was just going to go back to the original plan, but I'm curious. If you go left, you start second-guessing yourself. Maybe you should have turned right, head to the northwest corner of the pizza place. You almost turn back, but you figure out all these passages must lead to the same place eventually. You don't handle confined space as well, but these corridors are surprisingly roomy, much bigger than they need to be. With just the endless expanses of grey metal that shift under your weight, you become sensitive to the clues about your whereabouts. One section of the vents is sticky with grease and dust, and you know you must be passing through the kitchen. You're on the right track. Up ahead there's another junction, to the left and to the right. Picturing the layout of the restaurant in your mind, you can't figure out what could be to the right. There shouldn't be anything there, at least no room or area you can access normally. Turning left should point you in the direction of the break room. I'm turning right, I don't care if this is a game over, I want to see Springtrap. Dude, is it the safe room? It gets darker as you move along the right corridor. Less light from the restaurant is seeping through the cracks and vent openings. This route must be taking you farther from the break room, but your curiosity gets the better of you. Where are you? Are you even still in the restaurant? Now, it's basically pitch black and even more disorienting, but you push on. Finally, you reach a dead end. Literally. As you grope around for another path, your hand falls on something thin and dry, wrapped in threadbare fabric. It makes you think about the skeleton model in your high school biology classroom. This is a bone, you think. You drop it with a resounding thud, but you don't examine it any further. You don't want to know if it belonged to a human, or why it's here. You're somewhat relieved that you can't see anything, though your imagination is vivid enough to provide its own interpretation of the scene. You turn around and make your way to the break room. So it forces you to do the same thing, I think. Yeah. So that's just like a cheeky little detour, I think, to the safe room. I think that's one of William Afton's bones. I think that's Springtrap. Anyway. Excuse me. You can tell you're going the right way because you hear music and crashing sounds from the dining area. The animatronics are going to wreck the restaurant if you don't put a stop to this and tidy up before the morning. You pick up the pace, but moving faster means making more noise because the metal shaft shakes violently under your weight. The music in the dining area abruptly cuts and you freeze. Did they hear you? Maybe they've simply worn themselves out. If they've been operational since the pizza place closed, they haven't had a chance to recharge on the stage yet. If that's the case, what we need to do is climb out of the vent system, shut off all the lights, and somehow move the animatronics back up to their charging platforms. Could it really be that easy? Oh boy. Also, DJ, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. And yeah, it's like the Fnaf movie. It's like Fnaf 2 with the vent. It's like very Fnaf 2. So the music just cut. We need to keep moving, but like slowly. So I'm going to keep moving forward. Oh good, because leaving there is a game over. I think, yeah, Bonnie gets in the vent with you. You stick to the plan. Sometimes the animatronics are more dangerous when you can't hear them, and just because the music has stopped doesn't mean they have. You keep moving forward. You should be hitting the break room any minute now. Your knees hurt from crawling on them, and your hands are caked with grime. You keep having to brush cobwebs and tiny spiders from your hair and neck. You're going to take a long, hot shower when you get home. You reach another corridor branching to your right, sooner than expected. Does this go to the breaker room? Or somewhere else? If you listen for clues to where you are, turn to page 132. Obviously we're going to do that, because we need the head to the right. We'll keep moving forward. Let's listen for clues. The silence makes you nervous. You don't want to move for fear of making too much noise and being detected by the animatronics. And without their music playing in the dining area, it's harder to orient yourself in the vents. So you wait and listen. The only sounds you can hear are your own heartbeat pounding your ears and your shallow breathing in the confined space. But waiting pays off. The music in the dining area resumes. It seems to be coming from the corridor on the right. The music should muffle the sound of your movement in the vent, and there's a good chance all four animatronics are still partying together in the dining area. You push on to get a look ahead, and there it is, the break room. Unfortunately, a grate is covering the vent, but you can see the power panel on the wall, agonizingly out of reach. You're about to kick at the cover to try and pop it off when the music abruptly stops again. You listen, but footsteps echo in the vents from all over the restaurant. The animatronics could be anywhere and everywhere. You have to shut off the lights fast. Interesting. So if the music's coming from the right... Yeah, the break room's ahead. Do I wait and hope for more music, or do I try and kick off the vent cover? I thought it would take us back to the choice of going right or forward. But yeah. But yeah, I'm just looking through the game overs I've dodged. That's interesting. I don't have a bonus item. Kick off the vent cover or wait. I'm going to wait and hope for more music. What I'm getting from this is that if I make noise while they can hear without the music, I'm in trouble. If the music's playing, I'm not making as much noise, or like they can't hear me over the noise. And it's already, there's a precedent for this, so. You hold out a little longer in the hopes that the music will resume. Your patience is rewarded when a new song begins. Not the dance music from the dining area, but Freddy Fazbear's music box rendition of a classical piece. Closer than the dining area, and coming closer still. You fight the urge to hide in the vent, not trusting an animatronic to sneak up behind you while you're preoccupied worrying about Freddy. Freddy is still some distance off, so you kick at the metal vent cover until it finally pops free and clatters to the floor. The music is louder now, and the tune is almost over. You don't want to find out what will happen when it ends. This is very FNAF movie. Hey, maybe the guy at the start of the FNAF movie was Ralph. Maybe that's what Ralph looks like. Maybe that's Phone Guy. Maybe that's what he looks like. Imagine if it was Markiplier instead. That's crazy. The room is unfriendly to human life. Exposed power conduits run along the ceiling and power cables, and wires dangle down the walls and from the ceiling. You don't want to touch any of them. The air around you buzzes with electricity. It's at least 20 degrees warmer in here than anywhere else in the restaurant. It would be really easy for a fire to start in here, you think. No one would ever question it. Sweat drips down your forehead and back as you study the power control panel. There are 5 round buttons, like elevator buttons, faintly glowing green. Green is good, it means they're on. You should be able to just push them to turn off the power in each area of the restaurant, but you don't know whether you need to press them in a certain order or risk shorting out the entire system. All your life, you've gotten used to not pushing buttons, especially when you don't know what they do, but it seems like that's your official job lately. Well, this is what you came here for, so you better do something. So you can just go from left to the right, all buttons at the same time, or figure out a sequence. There probably is a sequence, and it's probably a game over regardless. But, like, I would push them all simultaneously just to see what happens. Oh, that's a game over. The buttons are close enough together that you can just about push them all at the same time. That could be a kind of fail-safe reason, because there's no way someone would do that by accident, but it would be easy to push all the buttons at one time. You press your left thumb against the first button and spread your fingertips of your right hand over the remaining 4 buttons. You feel something like a tingle or tickle in your hands, and the buttons hum at your touch. The hair on your head lifts away as if charged with static. Here goes, you say. You push all 5 buttons simultaneously, and the panel starts sparking. The buttons flash and start to scald your skin, but you can't pull your hands away. Your muscles are locked as 1.21 gigawatts of power pump through you, your hands completing a big electrical circuit. You smell something like cooking bacon and burnt hair, and then it's lights out for you. Cody, welcome to the stream. I just got zapped. I didn't get killed by animatronics, I just electrocuted myself to death. So we're in the breaker room behind the stage. I clearly need to push the buttons from left to right. Okay, let's not overthink this, you think. Or maybe you should overthink it. This place has been making you question everything and second guess yourself at almost every step, but sometimes you need to follow your instincts and use common sense. That's why they hired you, isn't it? Isn't it? In all your years with Fnaf Entertainment, they haven't exactly had people lining up to fill positions, and it's been harder and harder to hire new staff. Thanks to negative news coverage of a few isolated incidents. You were so proud when they hired you for security, but what if you were the only candidate? Well, you've proven your value time and time again. Tonight is no different. You're going to leave Freddy's with a spotless record and a glowing recommendation, so you'll have your pick of opportunities. A job that will give you more time to spend with Capelia, and lower chance of suffering serious harm, disability, or death on the job. You quickly press each button on the panel in sequence. They glow crimson and a soft hum indicates power shutting off around the restaurant. Then, one by one, the buttons turn green again as the system resets. You quietly crack open the door and peek into the dining area. The main lights are now out. Okay. So you can go to the security office via the restaurant on the vent. Apparently, if you try and figure out an order, it's a game over. Like... That's so fun. Hold on, I gotta read this. So, if I pick the other option to try and figure out a certain sequence, get this. Nothing is as it seems at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There must be a trick to this, or this is all a trick. You stare at the glowing buttons on the control panel. The metal around them is scratched. These faint lines could be numbers telling you your order to press the buttons in. You rub your eyes. This place is getting to you. You look around for other clues. There's a faded poster of Bonnie on the back of the door, the intended way to enter and leave this room. That could be significant. Why would someone put a mascot poster in here? Only staff would ever come to the breaker room. In big bright letters, the poster reads, "Party time," but the word time is scratched out. You've played enough point-and-click adventure games to realize this might be a hint. You need to press these buttons to shut down the party. Wait, there are 5 buttons, and 5 letters in the word party, P-A-R-T-Y. What if each button is one letter? You need to press them in alphabetical order. So the second button will be first because it's a P. You press it and the light changes from green to red. Now A is next. You push the first button. You're so certain you're onto something, you miss Freddy entering the room to shut you down. Game over. Average Fnaf theorists be like, alright, that's quite funny. I like that they made fun of like the Fnaf 3 wall code type puzzles and that. So silly. I am going to sneak through the dark restaurant rather than the vents. The vents, I don't feel safe about going through the vents again. I feel like that's just a bad idea. So here we go, going through the restaurant. Some illustrations back here. I keep getting distracted by like other things. I'm not reading this though. You sneak into the dark dining area. You successfully stop the animatronics before they did any real damage. The morning crew shouldn't have any trouble straightening the askew tables and righting all the chairs. They'll be curious about what happened, and they'll probably blame you, but this whole incident will be in your report. Not that anyone ever reads your report or believes what you wrote. The Home Office doesn't like paper trails, so they're probably filing your paperwork right into the trash can. Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica have returned to the stage and are recharging on their platforms. As you expected, switching off the lights triggered their night mode. Their internal clocks are probably all confused now, they'll likely be low on power tomorrow. But even if they freeze up on the stage, it'll be far from the worst thing that's happened during a performance. By a long shot. You have nearly reached the security office and are feeling pretty good about the night's work when you hear heavy footsteps running behind you, the clank of bare metal feet against a tiled floor. You break into a run without even looking behind you. Though you never see what hits you, it has to be Foxy. Since he's been taken out of the limelight, he responds differently to darkness. And this is how he likes to party. Game over. Wow. Where was I up to? Here we go. 139. If you take the vents back to the security office, turn to page 142. It would be faster to take a more direct route back to the security office, but strange enough, you feel more comfortable in the ventilation shaft. It's the only way to travel. The trip doesn't take you as long as you thought it would, since you know the way now. And once you thought you heard something scraping and clanking and thumping in the vents, but it was pretty far away, off near Parrot Cove. It's almost 6 AM, Foxy, you call out softly. While you doubt he heard you or would listen if he did, for some reason, he does not come after you. When you crawl out of the vent into the security office, you see that the clock reads 5:57 AM. It's close to quitting time. Wait for 6 AM and head home on page 240. We did it, guys. We survived night 4. We did it. We're closing in now. There's only one more night remaining. The blurb did say, you've got 5 nights, or is it 6? Question mark. But judging by the number of pages left, there's no way there's a 6th night. I don't think there's a 6th night in the book. Like, there's not enough room. So yeah, 240. This is it, guys. The final night is almost upon us. So I'm actually going to pause this, and I may or may not take a break. How are we doing in chat? Are we alright? I don't know who's still here. But yeah. I guess we are venting. I died so many times. This book, it's definitely designed so you get the game overs and then the correct route. Because, like, I would not survive Freddy's in real life. I would actually die. 1 second, chat. I'm gonna actually get up for a second to just get some hydration. Just like 2 minutes. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. Bear with me. Thank you. Hey, I'm back. I'm gonna edit that out of the stream. There's an easy fix for that. My bad. That should be a separate window. I don't think I doxed myself or anything. That's just... That was my WhatsApp. It's fine. It's fine. I know that only one person will have seen that because there's only one person watching the stream. I think. We're fine. We're fine. I'll make sure to delete. Let me timestamp that. 107:20. There we go. Alright. As we were. Let's get a full screen. Well, let's get a different one. We've got Fnaf 3 ambience. Shall we switch it up? We'll go with Fnaf 2 ambience or something. It's not loading. Come on. Like, we could go with something like this. I don't know. Yeah, why don't we go with Fnaf 2? Because we haven't... This is a good one. We haven't really used this. I know we had all those Into the Pit ones which we didn't use, but I can't find them. This is literally just the ambience, isn't it? Because the other one's like a mix of all the sounds. Yeah, let's go with the one with all the actual sounds. The proper soundscape. Also, since I was a little hungry, I got myself some festive sandwiches. It's basically roast dinner leftovers in a sandwich. It's like turkey and like cranberry sauce. It's very nice. Yeah. Alright. Shall we? Here we go. That is a little bit loud. I'm also just realising that's sort of... It should be the Fnaf 1 location. I might go with this because it's less distracting. It's got like a variety of images. At least I think it does. Is it just that one image the whole way? Yeah, it is. Hold on. Hold on. What is this? ASMR, that's one way of putting it. What is this? Nice. Let's see if I can get note 5. Is there a note 5 here? Come on. Ooh, Amnesia the Bunker, that's cool. Where is it? Dredge? Oh man, they've got all kinds of ambience. I love this channel. Oh, here we go. Hey, we found Into the Pit. Tell you what, let's go with this. I found it. I thought I lost these. Okay. Ignore that, sorry. Chat's gone, I need to pop chat account. There we go. Love it, okay. Alright, we're all set now. Gang, it is time for the 5th night. Let's do this. As soon as I'm done eating this sandwich. Well, I'll eat my sandwich after I've read out this. This is also quite loud, by the way. Tell me if I need to turn it down. It's quite loud for me. Yeah, this is cool. Fresh new Fnaf. This feels like a proper mainline Fnaf game. It's like fresh new music. I don't know. Anyway. When you get home, you head straight for your daughter's room, but she isn't there. Shaking with fear, you call out for her and search the house. Capelia! Capelia! In here! Her voice is muffled, but it sounds like it's coming from your bedroom. You rush upstairs to find her sitting on your messy bed in her pajamas. Pell! You rush to her side and grab her in a tight embrace. Ow, what's wrong? I was worried that when you weren't in your room. What are you doing in here? She yawns. I missed you, Daddy. I missed you too, kiddo. Any reason? Because you weren't here. Duh. You roll your eyes. You lie next to her and stare up at the ceiling while she snuggles against you. This is nice, you think. Kapia used to do this all the time when she was little, but you know those days are numbered. Eventually, probably sooner than you like, she won't even want to talk to you. You'll miss those sleepless nights with her tossing and turning, sticking your feet in your face, lying your arm that's numb. So you better enjoy it while you can. The next thing you know, Capilia is kissing you goodbye on the cheek. She is dressed for school and holding a Pop-Tart in one hand, her backpack in the other. I'm leaving, she says. Daddy, can you stay home from work tonight? I can't, you mumble, already falling back to sleep. Just one last night. It's almost weekend, guys. It's almost the weekend. Just one more day. Just one more day. Turn to page 158. Ooh, there's not much space at the end of the book for the daytime stuff, but there's room for a sixth night here. That's interesting. It's chunky. Alright. I'm going to begin night 5 very soon. I'm just going to eat this sandwich. Anyway. Hunter, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Yes. This is a choose your own adventure book based on Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Links in the description. It's all down there. We're about to begin night 5. Just need to finish eating my sandwich. Nice. Yeah. I tell you what, the festive sandwich is just delectable. I'm noticing new things about the Into the Pit ambience as well. Some new sounds. Very haunted. Your brother has it. Cool. Nice. Yeah. Have you read this before? Have you played this before? There we go. Just warning you guys, by the way, I'm going to need to go on break for like a longer period soon. So there might be like a 20-25 minute break within night 5 on Roblox. What? This book isn't on What are you talking about? You can't have a book on Roblox. What do you mean? What does that mean? Anyway. Here we go. Night 5, 12 AM. You start your last shift ever at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza with mixed emotions. This has been a killer week, but you handled everything well, and the events of the last 4 nights have reminded you that you're still very good at your job. The animatronics require, no, they deserve caretakers who appreciate them and understand them, and you've always been that. And yet, you can certainly do without the high stress and anxiety that you might not survive till the morning. Your daughter needs someone to take care of her, too. The night watchman can always be replaced, but she only has one dad. Okay, technically fathers can be replaced, but there is definitely only one Capilia, and you'd like to be in her life as she grows up. That's what this is all for, so you can get a job with a lower mortality rate and a better work-life balance. For some reason, you've had a hard time remembering each night after you go home, until you come back to work the next day. Like it says in your employee handbook, what happens at Freddy's, stays at Freddy's. Unless there's major coverage in the papers and the nightly news. One of the drawbacks of working the late shift is that there are no co-workers to see you off on your last night. You always thought if you left this job, the company would throw you a big going-away party celebrating your many years of service. Then again, considering what can happen at Freddy Fazbear's pizza parties, you're probably better off not drawing too much attention to yourself. As sweet as it would be to hear Freddy sing, for he's a jolly good fellow to you. Actually, it turns out the restaurant didn't even open today. You don't know why. Maybe it's because the dining area was such a mess, you think guiltily. This doesn't affect your shift, though, except who knows what the animatronics have been up to all day on their own. Which reminds you about the job you have to do. This is no time to fall asleep at the wheel. You switch on the monitor and check out the show stage camera. Your seat isn't even warm yet before you jump up from it in a surprise. The stage is empty. It's just after midnight. The animatronics are way ahead of schedule. They could be restless after being alone all day. Hopefully, they aren't upset about their party last night being interrupted. They might be out seeking revenge. Or they could be angry that you're leaving. You've been a part of the Fazbear family trademark for so long, perhaps they don't want you to go. Or they don't want you to get away. You laugh off these ridiculous notions as you punch buttons to check each camera. You've definitely been working here too long if you think the animatronics have a vendetta. They can only respond to external stimuli according to their programming, like recharging when the lights go out, or restoring wandering exoskeletons to their suits where they belong. You find the animatronics immediately. Bonnie is at the far end of the West Hall, heading towards the security office. Freddy is in the dining area, making his way down the aisle, towards the security office. Foxy is halfway through the curtains of Pirate Cove, also probably on his way to the security office. Who told them that you're leaving? How do they know? You swallow your panic and keep clicking around. Chica? Where's Chica? The kitchen camera is dark as usual, but you don't hear anyone in there. Chica could be anywhere. You glance over at the open door to your right. She could be anywhere. So we can close the left door, close the right door, listen to the kitchen feed a little longer, or check the vents behind you. Closing the right door might be a waste of power, but that definitely seems to be the safe option. There's no queue, but like, we can afford that, right? The left door, I don't know what the point of that is. Listening to the kitchen feed might be smart, but also if something's there, they're going to get in while we're doing that. Checking the vents, I don't think she can go in the vents. I don't think she could fit. Maybe she could, but did we not move the locker back? I'm going to say close the right door. Seems obvious. In the pit of your stomach, you feel certain that Chica is about to breach the security office. You shut the door on your right, just in time. Someone bangs on the reinforced steel from the other side. "'Tis some visitor," you mutter, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. You flip on the hall light and see the distinctive shape of Chica. She keeps pounding on the door and shrieks. "Quoth the chicken, nevermore." You laugh shakily. Didn't know he was a Shakespeare fan. I'm guessing that's what that is. You often crack jokes when you're nervous, but this close call has got your pulse going. At least you know where all the animatronics are now, or where they were a few minutes ago. A lot could have changed already. Last you checked, Bonnie was on his way down the West Hall to mess up your night. You don't hear him now. He could still be lurking nearby, or maybe he's lost interest in you. I would check the cameras, rather than just closing the left door. You pull up the camera for the West Hall to check on Bonnie's progress, but he isn't your main concern anymore, because Foxy is racing towards the security office. You jump up to close the left door to block Foxy, but his footsteps are loud and fast in the hall. He could reach the door before you shut it. Act fast. If you close the left door again, turn to page 172. You hide in the vent, turn to page 174. If you have a water pistol, you may use it on page 176. We sadly do not have a water pistol, but that is interesting to know. I like that this is like an exciting night as well. This is like fast paced. They're not messing around anymore. I guess we're going to shut the left door again. I mean, that's what we need to do, right? Like, what else are we doing? I'm confused. We already shut the left door and it's been opened? But if we try and close the left door again, you leap towards the button beside the left door and slam your palm against it hard, as if more force will make it close faster. As soon as the reinforced barricade falls into place, you hear a frustrated scream and heavy fists against the metal. The door shakes in the frame and vibrates with each impact, but it holds. You've got that in the nick of time, but movement in the corner of your eye makes you think you still weren't quick enough. Bonnie's face appears at the vent. He tilts his head from side to side and stares at you. You're surrounded, with no way out and little hope of surviving until morning. So we can try and close the vent. We do have a flashlight, or we can defend ourselves. Those all sound good, but we have a flashlight. The flashlight could stop Foxy, and then we could run out. Let's go page 177. You pull out your flashlight and hold it in front of you with both hands. Before I do, I just want to see what defend yourself means. Was it 171? 172. What does defend yourself mean? Oh, you like actually just fight them straight up. That's not a game over, surprisingly. Closing the vent is a game over. Because Bonnie just breaks through, I think. So. But we're committing. We're going to the flashlight. You press the button to turn it on, and a bright beam of white light cuts through the darkness. You shine it directly into Bonnie's face. He flinches and pulls back. His eyes blink one at a time. Left, then right. Left, then right. It's creepy. Sorry. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's right, page. His servos whir and his jaw stutters open and close, but he can't seem to move. You switch off the flashlight and his eyes roll a few times before he recovers. He opens his mouth and screams. The cry is cut off as you turn the flashlight back on again. He makes a horrible gasping sound that repeats over and over again like a stuck record. Okay, you breathe. Your hands shake a bit and the beam wavers, but you hold it on Bonnie's eyes. The light must be causing an overload in his photoreceptors. The animatronics are all programmed to respond to the light levels, so they're in performance mode during the day when the fluorescent lights are on the restaurant. When it's dark, they recharge and roam. The bright light is confusing Bonnie, so he doesn't know what to do next. For how long? You hold the light in either clock. You just have to make it till morning. The light flickers and dims until you whack the side of it with a palm. You wish you'd installed fresh batteries. Wait out the end of your shift and turn to page 188. Oh, this is definitely a game over. There's no way we spend the entire shift just holding the light on Bonnie with both doors shut. No way. You can hardly believe it when the clock beside the security monitor clicks over to 6 AM. You've survived your fifth and final night at Freddy's. Now that the moment is finally here, you appreciate how much danger you were truly in. But by making all the right decisions along the way, you've survived one of the toughest challenges of your life. You open the doors to the security office with a measure of apprehension, worrying even now that there's a twist or that someone is playing prank on you. The doors are pretty beat up. You walk slowly through Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, taking it all in for the last time. The place is a little messy, but that isn't your problem anymore. Not my circus, not my animatronics, you say. You take a moment to look up to Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica on their stage. You can't help but feel bittersweet about leaving. Sure, they tried to kill you and they've probably given you nightmares for the rest of your life. They probably have their reasons for it. They've clearly been through a lot themselves. No hard feelings. You jump as the animatronics whir and run through their end of performance sequence, taking a bow, saying goodbye. You back up. You're not supposed to be doing that. Freddy turns his head to you. It's time to go. Turn to page 189. I don't believe this. We were in the security office with both doors shut and the light on Bonnie the entire night. And we didn't run out of power? I don't believe it. As you walk through the door and take your first steps into an uncertain future, let me just make sure I didn't go to the wrong page. So, we were on 172. If you have a flashlight, you may use it on page 177. Page 177. Yeah. Bonnie blinking one eye at a time. The photoreceptors confusing his programming. Wait out to the end of the shift and turn to page 188. I didn't go to the wrong page. That is actually the route. We just took a really quick route. We're already at the end of night 5. It was a really quick route. As you walk through the door and take your first steps into an uncertain future, you think you should feel lighter. You made it. You never have to come back here again. But something is still weighing on you. You feel like you might have some unfinished business here. You don't like to leave a job undone, and deep inside you feel like you're abandoning your post. No one understands or cares about the animatronics more than you do. What will happen to them when you're not there to look after them? What will they be able to get away with? And you still don't have another job lined up. Even with Fazbear Entertainment's famously modest wage increases year after year, you still make more than minimum wage. What kind of work are you going to find out there? Capelia is depending on you to keep a roof over her head and food on the table, and to keep the monsters away, both real and imagined. You wonder if you're truly done with these animatronics, and if they're truly done with you. You have the sense that Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy can carry a grudge for a long time. But what could they hold against you? The worst thing I've done is lived, you say. That might be enough. You can think about it later. Right now, you can't wait to get home to your daughter. You're looking forward to getting a good night's sleep. The end. ? And all it says is to start from the beginning, turn to page 2. That is an ending. That is the end. We survived night 5, we walked away. How did that work? This feels like a dream sequence. Real. I'm just going to go back. Because I'm curious. Hold on a second, my hands are full here. Let me switch up the ambience. because we finished, but it's definitely not over. We're clearly not done here. So sorry. Ugh. Okay. Game. Let's go back one choice and just see if there's a different thing, because it wasn't as simple as all the others being game overs. If we chose, instead of holding the light, if we chose to close the vent, it's a game over. If we choose to defend ourselves, we turn to page 178. You refuse to go down without a fight. Just get all my things up. You refuse to go down without a fight. You've been dealing with these animatronics for 4 long nights, surviving by the skin of your teeth, and you are so tired. Tired of being hunted and terrified, or you're just trying to do your job. Trying to keep them safe. Protecting Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy is the prime directive of every Fazbear Entertainment employee. But you've already resigned. This is your last shift. From now on, your #1 priority is keeping your daughter safe. As Bonnie begins to emerge from the vent, you scream and run at him. Bonnie hesitates and looks up at you, his purple eyes wide and his mouth slack. When you reach him, you pull your right leg and kick him in the side of the head as hard as you can. To your astonishment, Bonnie's head flies off. It hits a locker with a crash, then bounces and rolls around the desk. Sorry, I'm just sorting this out. But yeah, wow, you say. Someone must have done a bad job of attaching that. That's a nice callback. Because we attached his head on night 2. Bonnie's body twitches, crawls forward a few steps, and then collapses. Electricity arcs and the torn wires dangling from its neck. You did it. You're safe. But not for much longer. You hear classical music coming toward the security office. Freddy. Dude. I like the fact that, like, it calls back and points out that, oh yeah, you attached a hedge and you didn't do a very good job because you're not qualified. Because otherwise it's like, how could you possibly have the force to kick off an animatronic's head like that? Seems implausible, but there's actually a reason for it. That's really good writing. Like, it's rational, it's logical, it's realistic. That's a really good attention to detail. And it's, you know, set up perfectly. So, Foxy and Chica at the doors, Bonnie's headless, but we hear Freddy. So we can check the security cameras, try to call the police, or use a bonus item. We don't have a bonus item. I think calling the police for help is probably a game over, but I'm so curious what that does. So I'm just going to have a glance at this. It's not a game over. That's interesting. Let's do security cameras though, because that would be my actual choice. So if we check the security cameras, you're an old pro at pushing buttons. You cycle through every camera in the restaurant at a record pace, looking for any sign of the restaurant's star mascot. It only takes you a quick glance to dismiss each location until you get to the East Hall corner. Freddy is standing there and he's looking straight at the camera. His expression looks the same as ever, but somehow it seems more sinister. His music continues playing, and this time, you recognize it. You've been listening to classical music stations on your drives to and from work for the past few days, hoping it will come up. When it did, a sudden panic attack forced you to pull over to the side of the road until the song ended. But the DJ identified it as a song from the opera Carmen, about a bullfighter. An interesting choice. Is that how Freddy sees himself? Or is it a challenge to the listener to stand up and fight? You choose to fight. In this instance, it means locking your eyes on that monitor and watching Freddy. As long as you're looking at him and his song is playing, you don't think he will attack. I love that. I've actually seen Carmen. I watched, when I was a kid, I saw a performance of Carmen. This was like years and years before I ever heard of Five Nights at Freddy's, before Five Nights at Freddy's existed. It's a really interesting callback. Well, we're just going one page at a time now. It's a long night watching Freddy, hoping that no one will sneak in through the vent and get you while you're preoccupied and essentially helpless. If the other animatronics are still waiting and lurking, they leave you alone. It's just you and Freddy. Your whole world is that small rectangular screen with the grainy image of a murderous animatronic and a bear in a top hat. You blink as little as possible, though your eyes are burning and blurring with tears. It seems each time you do, the posters on the wall change. One moment there's a list of restaurant rules behind Freddy. The next, it's a newspaper page showing a headline about missing children. You want to read it, but you know the moment you shift your focus to anything other than Freddy, you'll be lost. But he keeps trying. You know it has to be Freddy's doing, whether he is somehow changing what's on the walls, or merely your perception of them. Blink. Now you're looking at sad, scary children's drawings that make you feel simultaneously vulnerable and malevolent, as if you are both victim and perpetrator of some horrible crimes. This isn't who you are. It's this place. You feel like you're losing your mind. Freddy keeps trying to shake your attention. Now he seems to be shifting his position around the room, but it could just as easily be a camera glitch that makes him appear to teleport to different places. If he can do that, you fear he will somehow teleport into the security office, bypassing the closed doors. You dare not look away from the screen, but it must nearly be 6 AM. The night is almost at an end, and you're still alive. But your eyes are wary from staring at the screen, and you worry that you will never lose the image of Freddy. Perhaps it is burned onto your retinas, burned into your very soul. Just as you're sure a new day is dawning, you experience vertigo and have the sensation that you're disconnecting from your body, from reality. You black out for a moment, and when you come to, you are in the west corner of the restaurant, staring up at the security camera. What? That is a very Fazbear Frights thing. I already knew what was happening. As soon as it said blackout, I figured it, like, disconnecting from your body. Guy, this is such a Fazbear Frights thing. This is literally Lonely Freddy. That's a really cool way to adapt that thing in the game, that iconic on 20 mode where you have to look at him on the cameras. If you look at him too long, there's actually a consequence. That's a cool adaptation. Anyway. You feel heavier somehow, but also bigger and stronger and colder. You want to look down at your hands to make sure you still have all your fingers, and that they're not covered in brown fur, and you still have organic bones, not a metal endoskeleton. But what if you look away from the camera and are stuck in this body forever? I'm just hallucinating, you think. This isn't real. I might be hallucinating, and this is real. When 6 AM rolls around, your shift is over and you head home, feeling both liberated from Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and as if you'll never really escape it. So much of your identity is caught up in that restaurant. It can't be that easy to let go. You enter your house and look for Capelia. She must still be asleep, so you go to her room to wake her up. The door creaks open and a lump under the bed covers moves. Her head pops out, hair tangled mess as usual. She yawns big. Just as she is opening her eyes, you wonder if she will like the new you. And that's a game over. That's it. There's so many implications and consequences. Like, what happens after that? Like, you could do an entire story just based off that ending. These endings are really interesting because they leave lots to the imagination. There's almost like potential that isn't being manifested here. Like, I would have absolutely loved to see those expanded on. That is such an these are such interesting adaptations and scenarios, honestly. But alright, that's a game over. Let's try calling the police for help and see what happens. Page 193. Trapped in the security office, you've never felt less safe at Freddy's than you do now. The animatronics are unusually aggressive and relentless. They keep beating on those doors, it's only a matter of time before they give. The only tool at your disposal is the phone on the desk. You pick up the handset and try to dial 911, but you can't get an outside line. You never did learn the access code that will allow you to call out. But that doesn't mean you're completely helpless. You start dialing the extensions of other phones around the restaurant. The dining area, the kitchen, the backstage. On the security cameras, you pick up the ringing, and immediately the banging ceases and the animatronics are lured away. That is such a cool adaptation. Reference to the Fnaf 3 audio lure mechanic, and it reminds me of Fact 2, where they literally have phones ringing that, like, attract the animatronics. But also, it's Phone Guy, so thematically and symbolic, there's a whole thing, calling for help, being a voice, kind of distant but close, and obviously pulling up. Ah, man. This writing's actually pretty good. I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, what a long game over, right? Ralph knows about cam stalling, but Freddy camped and body snatched him, which is crazy. So, on the security cameras, you pick up the ringing, and immediately the banging ceases as the animatronics are lured away. They'll be back, probably soon. You hope if this keeps up, you can keep them busy chasing the ringing away from the office. You notice the red light blinking on the phone. That wasn't there earlier, you're pretty sure. It could be an automated announcement from management. They try to avoid direct conversations whenever possible. Or maybe someone has sent you a message. You dial into the voicemail system. It prompts you for a 4-digit passcode. So you can enter 1983, 1987. If you try different combinations, turn to 194. If you have a ticket, you may check it on 1897. Or you can just hang up and wait for the end of your shift. Well, I'm just curious what combinations we can try. If we try different combinations, you punch in the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and the recorded voice says, incorrect passcode. You didn't expect it would be a combination an idiot would have in their luggage, but you never know. Next you try 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way through 9, 9, 9, 9, but no dice. You might as well be rolling dice, since there are 10,000 possible combinations, and the chances of you happening across the correct one before your shift ends are slim. You shrug. It's not like you have anything better to do, and it's a fine way to kill time. In frustration, you start typing numbers randomly. Amazingly, one of these attempts works. Voicemail. You have 1. New message. Press 1 to play. Unfortunately, you were so engrossed in trying out different combinations, you forgot to continue calling around the restaurant. Something grabs you and pulls you backward, kicking and screaming toward the vent. The phone handset clatters to the floor. A tinny voice comes out of the speaker. You don't know me, but this is really important. Freddy and the others will. You'll never know who left the message or what was so important. You're also not in much of a position to care anymore. Dude, there's so many weird details that make me feel like there's a wider story here, and I don't know if it's supposed to be connected to the games or if it's like its own canon or continuity or something, but it's like, who is that? I really want to know. Like, I'm so curious. There's like so many of these details. Screw this. I'm going to try all of them. And good for you, GJ, because 1983 is up next. If you enter 1983, 4 digits. Could be a year, you think. You can't remember what year the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opened, or its predecessor, Fredbear's Family Diner, but one year does stick out. It was known as the Big Bite, until it happened again 4 years later, kind of like how World War I was just the Great War until another one came along. Oh my gosh. That is the first time there's been ever been a logical explanation for the fact there's been 2 bites. So before the Bite of 87, the Bite of 83 was just called the Big Bite. Like how World War I was called the Great War until World War II happened. That's such a great comparison. I've never made that connection, but that's such a rational... Oh, I love how this is rationalising weird things from Fnaf. Speaking of tragedies that could have been avoided, you punch in the numbers 1983 and the phone line crackles. Then you hear... Sorry, I almost just bit my tongue. Then you hear a sobbing child? There's definitely a little boy crying on the other end of the line. He's shouting, "No! Let me go!" You lean forward. "Hello, hello? Are you there? Talk to me, kid." "No! Please, I don't want to." Your skin prickles. You realise you're listening to a recording. You can't help anyone. "Give you a closer look," another boy says, his voice mean and hard. You hear children's laughter and bubbly pop music, one of Fredbear's original hits. The secret ingredient is you, which you haven't heard in years. "Hey, stop that. Put him down," a man shouts. "Get back from the stage. Do not touch the bear." People start shouting and screaming. The music plays on. The boy cries on until... crunch. You hang up the phone, but you can still hear a child crying. You twist around your seat and see... crunch. Game over. They are quoting FNAF 4 exactly there, but then, "Hey, stop that, put him down," a man shouts, "Get back to the stage, do not touch the bear." That wasn't in the game. I don't know why they've added that. It's an interesting addition. I like the inclusion of, like, a Fredbear song, the name, but, like, I thought the whole point is that there were no adults there to supervise them, because William should have been there and he wasn't. But, like, that's amazing. And then the fact that it's probably that child who died who's now haunting Phone Guy and killing him for listening to his recording. Probably Golden Freddy. I think that's supposed to be Golden Freddy. Let's try 1987 though. I think so, DJ. I think that's the implication. So 1987, page 196. 4 digits. Could be a year, you think. You can't remember what year the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opened, or its predecessor Fredbear's Family Diner, but one year does stick out. Who could forget the so-called Bite of 87? You shudder. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe. You punch in the numbers 1987, and there's a long pause before you hear 2 garbled words, slowed down. Edoskap Snicker. It takes you a moment to understand that it said, "Incorrect password" in reverse. Incorrect passcode. Dokasap Turking. I'm not saying that quite right, but I think you get the idea. The voicemail system is glitching out. You try typing the numbers again. Or should you enter in 7891 instead to get it back to normal? This time you hear a series of clicks and the whir of a tape deck being rewound. Then a voice speaks. It sounds familiar. Then you recognize it as your own voice. You're listening to a recording you made some time ago for new employees. Someone has edited it. "Hey, good job, night 5. Keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it. Well, just get through one more night. Hang in there. Good night." Thanks for the words of encouragement past me. You wish you could leave a recording for that guy. That is quoted word for word from FNAF 2. That is like, they've edited, they've cut out a few lines from FNAF 2. God, the continuity's on point. Then it says, keep dialing to the end of your shift and turn to page 188. So, 1987 actually gets you to the same ending. It gets you to the same ending. The good ending, which we got earlier. So that's interesting. But there were more options. We don't have a ticket. Oh, and then the last option is just to wait until the end of our shift, so we can... That just takes us to 188. So that all seems to go the same way. Is there anything that doesn't go to page 188? Because it seems like it all goes there. Like it all seems to be that. Ooh, there is one interesting thing though. No, we don't have the bonus item. Well, I won't spoil it. I just saw there's a route where you do something that Phone Guy did in FNAF 1, I think. I'll just say it. It looks like there's a route where you record a message for the next guy. I didn't give it a proper read though, because spoilers. Ooh, page 201, night 6. But I don't know how to actually get here. Because, again, 188, 189, the end. And it just takes us back to the beginning. And, like, I could cheat. I could be cheeky and just kind of, like, flick through the book. Like, if I go back to 240, I can look at 241, and I can see what appears to be another ending, maybe? I don't know, I'm not actually reading it, I'm just sort of looking at it. But there is a sixth night. There is a sixth night. As DJ says, it's hidden. It's secret. Maybe I have to play on the harder difficulty. The difficulty only seems to affect what items you have. And I feel like either way, I need to go and find more like secret routes and sort of like branch paths to get items to unlock stuff. Because I remember throughout the game we found like hidden rooms and, you know, certain interactions and stuff. So I don't know how to access Night 6, and I'm not just going to read through. I'm going to figure out how to actually get to it. I'm going to actually read through it, but I'm not going to stream it, guys. This has been Five Nights at Freddy's the week before. I hope you have enjoyed. It's been a lot of fun. And, you know, this has been a really interesting book. I'm really impressed. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, but that is going to be it from me. I don't have time to do a whole other stream to figure out Night 6. I think this is something I'm just going to come back to my own time. And if you want to experience everything for yourself and find out all the secrets within, get the book for yourself. The link is in the description. It's an absolute banger. And I know I've kind of pirated it a bit by having this whole... basically reading the whole thing on a free YouTube stream that's publicly available, but I'm going to leave Night 6, and I definitely, I don't know, I'm going to just pause this. There we go. It's distracting me. I don't know what else to say. I don't know if I'm going to give any of the other ones a look in. There's one based on Into the Pit, which is pretty cool, but I feel like I've had enough of that. There's one based on Security Breach, which I really don't care about, but yeah, I mean, this is good. The writing quality is also pretty decent. I kind of wish they characterized Ralph as more of like a hardened, you know, gritty, kind of, you know, cynic kind of character. I feel like he should have been way more cynical, because his sort of happy-go-lucky tone and sense of humor just doesn't match the way he grimly describes stuff. And I feel like maybe they could have leaned more into the fact that he's like repressing his trauma with humor. But honestly, characterization of Phone Guy, I still feel kind of weird about him having a name and a daughter, but it kind of makes sense. Like, this really makes a lot of sense. It ties together a lot of stuff from the first two games, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'm a big fan of it. I've really enjoyed it. All the choices, all the, you know, endings, all the deaths. Like, it really expands on the original game in a really fun way. But that is it. That is done. We got an ending. I'm going to leave Night 6 for you guys to go and find for yourself, but I hope you have enjoyed. So, like, share, subscribe, check the links in the description. You already know. Yeah, I mean, that is going to be it from me. Now, I do have another live stream happening in about an hour, so I'm going to go ping for that soon, and that should be happening a-okay. But yeah, this is just completely lagged out. There we go. But yeah, this has been the week before. Really unique. I love a good choose your own adventure story. Anyways. But DJ, we also have a QOTD from you. Let me get it up here so you can see it properly. But yeah, Fnaf World clock ending. We already talked about this in our Fnaf World stream, but yeah, you win by default, because I don't think anyone else is going to attempt the QOTD. I don't think there's anyone else here right now. People have been coming and going. But hey, that's a shout out for DJ. Link to his channel description. What a dude. Thank you for your support. And yeah. It's interesting though, because I'm not just giving it to anyone. It is a good answer. Like, you know, the way it's connected to the previous games, the lore, and yeah, just like the unique kind of details and the way it presents the clues. It's very cool. It's very mysterious. I'm all for it. But yeah, that is the end. So thank you so much for watching, and I might start the next stream early if I can. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Stay hydrated.